Alright guys, we have the latest character in the game now, which is SP Akashi. So let's do a talent priority guide for him, and also I will talk about whether or not you want Awakening and also his potential build towards the end of the video. Now what makes SP Akashi both very interesting and also extremely versatile is the fact that with his ult, he can actually choose between either this command tower mode or this born to win mode. Now you can't actually just switch it up between the two modes in the match. Once you decided to go down one path, you'll be committed for the remainder of the match. However, this still gives huge amount of versatility because depending on your teammate, you are essentially able to have different playstyle with him, and also depending on, for example, in the first 1 minute, depending on how your teammates are performing, you can also decide whether or not you want to play more of a supporting role, therefore passing a lot more in the command tower mode, or whether or not you actually feel like you need to step up and score a bit more, and in which case you will go for the born to win mode. Now because the two modes are slightly different, there will actually going to be two different type of talent priority that you need to do depending on which path you may want to play your Akashi in. Obviously, ideally, if you have all of the resources in the world, you will try to get him maxed out on both fronts so that you can easily decide during the match itself which one's the best playstyle. However, if you're on a low budget, then you kind of need to make a decision between the two. Which one do you want to concentrate on first? Okay, so now in terms of talent priority, I'm actually going to split into three sections. The first section are going to be talents, which are going to be crucial for both different type modes. So those are the ones you need to max up first, no matter what. And then I'm going to talk about if you want to go down the command tower route, what are going to be the main talent priority you want to focus on. And then lastly, if you want to go down to the born to win mode, so therefore try to take up a lot of the scoring by yourself, then which are going to be the more important talent priority to do instead. Okay, so first section, what are going to be the common ones that you absolutely need regardless of which path you want to go down. So for the first skill tree, you want to go down to here, which is this crossover behind the backstop. This allows you to basically stop in the middle of your drive, and that can basically first of all create your opportunities, but also the other way is kind of interrupt your move chain so that you can potentially attack into a different pattern afterwards. Okay, so skill one, you definitely need this regardless of which path you want to go down. And it's also going to be the same thing for this one. For the second skill tree, you want to go down to at least stop and pull up. Okay, so this allows you to shoot once you realize, for example, the enemies are basically let's say, for example, if your teammates are screening for you, you can stop right behind them, behind the screen, to do a quick shot. Or for example, if you feel like you have already opened up enough space, you can also use this as well. So those is another one that you absolutely need. And then for this one, the one you want is going to be the second layup points. Okay, so those are going to be those three sections for the first three skill trees. Basically for the first one, just to recap, you want to go to crossover behind the backstop. Second one, stop and pull up. And then this one for the second block timing for your layup. Those are mandatory regardless which mode of your Akashi you want to go down. Okay, now moving on to the command tower mode. Out of the remaining ones you don't want to focus on, the first one I will gonna recommend is gonna be layup pass. The reason why I recommend layup pass over, let's say, a fadeaway pass or a shoot pass is mainly because if you actually do a layup pass, a lot of time you'll be attracting the attention of both whoever's marking you as well as the enemy center, and therefore that should, in theory, free up at least one of your teammates for you to pass to. So that's kind of what personally I feel layup pass is gonna be more effective than let's say a normal shoot pass, because for a normal shoot pass you are probably only gonna attract the attention of the one who's directly marking. Okay, so that's kind of why this is going to be the number one priority if you want to go for the command tower. Then the next one I'm actually going to recommend is going to be this layup lockdown. I also personally feel like one of the biggest advantage of this command tower mode Akashi is actually going to be on his defensive capability. So you definitely want to do this layup lockdown next. And then afterwards you would probably want to go down to skill 2. And you want to go all the way to the end for the shoot and pass. It's very expensive because you do have to unlock a bunch of ones in the middle which are not that helpful, or mainly for the other mode of Akashi. But this is basically another variation of how you can potentially pass, but like I said, I personally value layer pass a bit more effective than this shoot pass. And then lastly, you can go for the skill 1 to go to drive pass. Once again, I feel like this one you're not really able to create opportunity for your teammates. You're really only going to attract the attention of the one marking you. So that's kind of why this is the lowest priority. And then after all of this, you can then unlock the first one for his ult. In all honesty, Akashi's ult is mainly for his Born to Win mode. It's not really so much for his passing mode. This is kind of the only thing you actually need from his ultimate skill tree if you're going to command tower. Okay, so that's going to be a talent priority for a command tower build. Let's talk about the other mode, which is the Born to Win version. And I'm not gonna lie, it's going to be a lot more expensive because you actually need to max out pretty much all of the talent. So for skill 1, you need to go all the way to the end for this catch and drive. This game here 2 extra drive that he's able to do, so very important. Then the next thing you want to go is to unlock of the spin cut one. So for skill 2, this is kind of at this stage, so you need to go for the pump fake post spin inside cut, and that's also going to be the same thing for skill 3. This one is actually at the very end. You'll want to do this landing post spin inside cut. Those 2 inside cut basically allow you to use his ultimate to interrupt his attack pattern and then allow you to change a completely new combo. So that's kind of very the reason why they're very important. And this then also link up to his signature move, which is at the very end of his ultimate, which basically allow him to, at the end of any spin cut, he can then step back for a guaranteed shot if it's not actually be interfered. Okay, this is really annoying because even though the demo is only showing here, if you actually activate this towards near the 3-point line, he can actually go and make a guaranteed 3-pointer when not contested. Okay, so this is kind of his signature move, and that's kind of why you pretty much need to go very far on skill 2 all the way to the skill 3 at the end, and also all the way for his ultimate at the very end for this to happen. Okay, and then after you have done all of this, the last one you can then do is going to be his skill 4. This one for stealing is still quite nice. It's just in comparison to all of the other ones, it's not going to be as important, because even if you don't have the stealing skill, you can still just go for the traditional way of just using your fundamental to actually block down the enemies rather than try to go for RNG steals. Okay, so that's gonna be his talent priority for the Born to Win version. Now let's talk about his Awakening. His Awakening is a bit of an annoying one because his biggest buff he gets is actually going to be from his Awakening 4, Awakening 5, and also Awakening 6. Awakening 4, he can unlock his passing for his second layup timing as well, which is very important. For 5, he can basically increase his mid-range and also 3-pointer accuracy. You can even build him as a 3-pointer if you have him at Awakening 5. And then Awakening 6, this is quite important if you do actually want to end up stealing with him, because before, when you actually make a steal, he's not actually guaranteed to be able to, I believe, to actually hold the ball afterwards. So even if you actually do a successful steal, there's no guarantee you will actually change the possession. So this is very important from that perspective if you want to go for the steal, but also just the raw attribute, improving running speed. That's like one of the most important stats in the game as well. So that's kind of what Awakening 4, 5, 6 are all massive buff to him. It's just a bit unfortunate that you kind of need to burn a lot of resources in the first 3 awakening in order to get those nice buffs. So if you're very low on budget, I would say he's absolutely fine without any dupe, because to be honest, awakening 1, 2, 3 are not that big an upgrade, so you can definitely do without them. But if you are planning to dupe him out, you kind of need to commit all the way to the end. Okay, so that's going to be his awakening. And last thing I will show you guys is going to be on the ability section. So for ability, I pretty much only have one set, which I'm going to recommend. Now, it's very important for SP Akashi to build up his ult so that he can either go down the commander route or the Born to Win version. So for that to happen, what you have to do is pretty much the blue ones guaranteed need to be initial energy. You also want this natural talent one, and also make some noise to make sure you get to that branch as soon as possible in order to decide whether you want to go for commander or go for Born to Win. And then for the yellow one, I would recommend mid-range and block, and also for the green one, I would recommend block and energy regen. The reason for this is that I still think just block is the most fundamental defensive actions in this game. So and also if you're actually going for the commander version, Akashi has a pretty nice block skills already, so that's kind of why you want this. Now, if you really want to have a different variation, and I'll probably only recommend this if your Akashi is actually Awakening 6, so you can actually guarantee to hold the ball when you actually do the steal. In those kind of circumstances, you can change all of the block to steal instead. So rather than going for block and energy regen, what you can do instead is you go for steal and energy regen, and same thing for the yellow one. Rather than going for mid-range and block, you go for mid-range and steal instead, okay? But I would only recommend that if you are Awakening 6. Now, in terms of trades, I already talked about natural talent and make some noise are pretty much must-haves. Now, as for the third one, you can do a slight variation depending on which mode you are in. If you're going for the commander mode, I'll probably recommend this two-way player just to increase your block range, and the mid-range accuracy is always nice to have as well. However, if you're going for the Born to Win version, you would actually be tasked to scoring a lot of points, and in those kind of circumstances, I will probably recommend for you to get Unstoppable instead. This one is able to increase both your layup, your mid-range, and also your 3-point as well. So it's actually very important as SP actually can actually shoot all those different type of attacks. So that's kind of why I would say if you are going for the Born to Win version, you can potentially switch from a two-way player to Unstoppable instead. Okay. So those are gonna be kind of everything you need to know for SP Akashi. He's definitely a very good character, very expensive to build. If you're on a low budget, like I said, you can start off with going for more down the commander build, but then eventually switch up to the Born to Win version once you have a bit more resources with a talent card. And he's definitely very versatile as well. Like I said, no matter what your teammate is picking, you can always switch around your playstyle to make sure you suit your team the best. But yeah, so that's going to be my thoughts on the newest character. Let me know what you guys think, and also are you summoning for him?